Hi, my name is Nairi and I've suffered from trigeminal neuralgia for around about 2 years now. It's coming up for about 2 years, and so my journey has evolved over time. And today I want to tell you what the common pain feels like. And I just want to say from the very beginning, this is my experience, and because trigeminal neuralgia is very diverse amongst different people, then my experience might not be your experience, and that's okay. So the first common symptom that I had in the beginning, so things have changed from the beginning to now. Okay, so the first common symptom I had in the beginning was severe pain, which kind of felt like a toothache, but different. It was deeper, and it wasn't necessarily around one tooth area, so kind of really severe pain down here. The other thing I had was stabbing pains in the temple that was so bad that I wouldn't be able to do anything at all. So it might be one or the other. And I also got pain radiating down to here. It was almost like pain that felt like it was in my throat and felt like it was almost quite difficult to swallow. So I wouldn't necessarily have all of those pains at the same time, but I would know that if I was getting one of those pains, that I was probably going to go into a bit of an attack or a flare-up. And for me, sometimes I did get the kind of real bolt lightning pain, but I think I'm more like a TN2 kind of patient. So I would have like those throbbing intense pains for maybe an hour to 2 hours, and I'd have to lay down, lay still, and then after a while it would gradually resolve itself. But if I was going to have an attack for a few days, then that would continue with greater or lesser intensity, but enough that I couldn't do anything for a few days. So that's what it was like in the beginning. Okay, and some people ask as well about what's on an MRI scan and, you know, what was found on an MRI scan. So I had nothing on an MRI scan, but I was still told that regardless of that, I still have this trigeminal neuralgia, and that probably operating or doing anything like that isn't an option for me, because I'm likely to have lots of small compressions that are not seen on an MRI. But I'll also say that because my pain is under control, I never got to see a neurologist. So this was all diagnosed through dentists and then maxillofacial people, and I'm in the UK, so I guess things are different here than they would be elsewhere. Okay, so after a while I was put on carbamazepine or Tegretol, whatever you want to call it, and those symptoms remained the same but became less. Okay, so instead of it being up to an 8 out of 10 pain, it was then gradually controlled, and I remember writing in my diary, it's a 6 today, it's a 4 today, it's a 5 today. So it was similar but less intense, and I feel like I had less of it happening here and more of it happening here and here. Okay, so it wasn't bearable to go out and do anything. So I wouldn't go out on a trip or do anything like that away from home, but it might have been bearable to, you know, get in my art room and do some painting or some planning or journaling or watch the telly. Whereas in the beginning, I couldn't do anything. Or once I was on carbamazepine, I could definitely do some things. And then as time went on, now I remember my dentist saying to me, in the end, it probably will get controlled by the medication. And I 100% didn't believe her. I thought it was impossible. I thought my life was over and I was never going to be doing anything again. So if you look back on my videos, you will see how poorly I was sometimes when I was talking on camera. So, but the carbamazepine did regulate it, and it did take quite a long time. So I started on 3 tablets, which meant that I couldn't drive either, because after a tablet, about an hour after, then I'd get the effect of the tablet. And I'm now down to 1, which I take before I go to bed at night. I have tried to come off of that and I'm not able to, because then I do get the symptoms returning. But on 1, I feel like I'm on quite a maintenance dose, and I don't get bad days that often. However, I do get bad days, and for example, I had a bad night's sleep last night, and I can feel it today, so I'm gonna have to be really, really careful, and that's my indication to be careful. So people want to sometimes ask me about other things as well. So sometimes when I talk about medication, people will challenge that and say, why don't you try herbal? Why don't you try different things? Okay, so I suppose what I'm going to say here is it's down to the level of pain that you're in and what is controlled by the medication and how you get on with the medication. Now for me, 1 tablet a day, taking it before I go to bed at night, works really, really well. But the other symptom that I will have because of the medication is lethargicness, and sometimes apathy to do anything. Now, strangely, if I have a really good night's sleep, I feel very, very groggy in the morning, and I feel for a good hour, if I rush to get out of bed, I'll feel quite nauseous and quite disorientated. So for example, I've got to get up tomorrow, I've got to take my mum out to the hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll do better if I have a restless night's sleep and I don't go into a deep sleep than if I go into a deep sleep. Now, I don't remember being like that before I was on the carbamazepine. I think it's very much that, making me feel kind of slightly spaced out in the morning until I get going. Once I get going, a couple of hours into the morning, it's fine, but I would still say I'm still not what I was before, and I don't think I ever will be as long as I'm on that medication. However, that for me is a trade-off that's good enough. I don't want to try anything else. I don't want to try any herbal medications. I don't want to try anything else, because I feel, based on the level of pain that I was on and the level of pain I'm in now, which is manageable, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm kind of happy as I am. There are times when I forget I'm on the medication and wonder why I'm so tired. There are times when I wish I wasn't groggy, I wish I wasn't foggy, whatever you want to call it. But I've managed to live an okay life, and I feel like it's as good as it can be, so I've stopped looking at what I can't do and I start looking at what I can do. So I've opened a little shop with my craft stuff in and my painting stuff. I keep myself busy. I don't try to overdo it. If I do overdo it, I will get a bad day. So we've had a wedding recently and I have been quite knocked out, and I do get a few bad days, and I have to remind myself that I do still have this disease, I have this illness, and even though no one else is maybe remembering that, that's something I need to remind myself, that I can't do what I did before. So I hope that helps you. That's what I get pain-wise. That's the sort of symptoms I have from the carbamazepine, and that is my view on why I might not try anything else. So I hope that helps you, and I'll see you on Let's Face It. Thank you.